that we have to gather on this Shabbat and worship the Elohim of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov and his people, Hebrew Israel. We thank you, Most High El, Yeshayahu, for once again watching over us, protecting us, providing us with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. We thank you that you have given us strength in our bodies and you have healed those who have been afflicted. We thank you that you are the sole power of the universe that's in control of all things. We ask you today to let your opulent spirit fill this house where we're gathered. Let your ruach set upon the worship and upon the teaching of this day, that your people may gain some insight concerning you and the things that you have declared are going to come into existence. We give you thanks and we give you praise in all things. Amen.
Holding me, keep holding me, safe in your arms. Holding me, keep holding me, safe from harm. There is no other place I'd rather be than the palms of your hands. Keep holding me right where I stand. Keep holding me right where I stand. Holding me, keep holding me, safe in your arms. Holding me, keep holding me, safe from harm. There is no other place I'd rather be than the palm of your hands. Keep holding me right where I stand. Keep holding me right where I stand. I found a hiding, no other place I'll be than the palms of your hands. Keep holding me right where I stand. Keep holding me right where I stand. I found a hiding place in you. No other help will stand. So here is where I stand. So here is where I stand. So here is where I stand. Here is where I stand. Holding me, keep holding me, safe in your arms. Holding me, keep holding me, safe from harm. There is no other place I'd rather be than the palms of your hand. Keep holding me right where I stand. Keep holding me right where I stand. Keep holding me right where I stand. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. For this is the day Yahweh has made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. And I say to those who are watching by stream, may the peace of Yahweh be with you. And may he bring you what? Joy, peace, and happiness. Shalom. You are the potter, I am the clay. Mold me and make me in your way. I want to be right. I want to be whole. I want to be the one you call your own. You are the potter, I am the clay. Mold me, make me in your way. I want to be right. I want to be whole. I want to be the one you call your own. You are the healer that healeth me. You're my provider. You provide my needs. I give you my heart. I give you my soul. I want to be the one you call your own. Come on. So take me, Yahweh, and wrap me in your arms. Take me, Yahweh, and whisper words of love. Take me, Yahweh, I want to be in your will, Yahweh. Want to be the one. Let me be the one. I want to be the one you call your own. You are the potter, I am the clay. Mold me and make me in your way. I want to be right. I want to be whole. I want to be the one you call your own. Come on. So take me, Yahweh. Wrap me in your arms. Take me, Yahweh. Whisper words of love. Take me, Yahweh. I want to be in your will, Yahweh. Want to be the one. Let me be the one. I want to be the one you call your own. Let me be the one. I want to be the one. I want to be the one you call your own. Yeah, yeah. Let me be the one. I want to be the one. I want to be the one you call your own. This next song I want to dedicate this next song to Miss B, who we lost this week. This one hurts really deep. I can see her sitting over there, and she's moving back and forth, and she's looking at me. And when I would sing this song, I would see her hands go up, and you know how she'd do her thing. And we haven't seen Miss B here in the temple, but we know that she was watching. And I know that we'll see her again. Why? Because we believe we'll see each other again in the land. In the land. I miss her. I miss her presence. And I know she knew that we loved her. And for all of those who went and saw her and visited her and kept in touch with her, Brother Beacom, Sister Gail, and our Rabbi, she knew that we loved her and that we missed her. And she was a strong pillar in this congregation. She was with my dad from the beginning, and she never left his side. And this goes out to her memory. I love her, and I will miss her. He is Yahweh. He is my Redeemer. He is Yahweh. He's the lover of my soul. I find peace and rest in knowing who He is. I've found love and joy in all that He gives. His name is above all names. The angels cry, holy, holy, holy is His name. He is Yahweh. He is my Redeemer. found peace and rest in knowing who He is. I've found love and joy in all that He gives. His name is above all names. The angels cry, holy, holy, holy is His name. He is Yahweh. Hey, He is my Redeemer. Hey, He is Yahweh. Hey, He's the lover of my soul. She loved this part. He's not Muhammad nor Buddha. Crystal's not His name. He is mighty with power, and all the earth proclaim. There will come a day, yeah, where everyone will say, and every tongue proclaim, Yahweh, Yahweh, yeah, He's Yahweh. Yahweh. Again, He's not Muhammad nor Buddha. Crystal's not His name. He is mighty with power, and all the earth proclaim. There will come a day where everyone will say, and every tongue proclaim, Yahweh, Yahweh, He's Yahweh, Yahweh, He is Yahweh. He is my Redeemer. He is Yahweh. He's the lover of my soul. He is Yahweh.
Shabbat shalom to everybody today. It is good to see all of you here being a part of what we do. And what we do is we worship the Most High, who is the creator of all things. There is no name given among men whereby we will be delivered other than the name of Yahweh. Oh no. No. The text says, their text says, a servant cannot be greater than his master. That's what their text says. So if their text says that a servant can't be greater than his master and he's a servant, then Yahweh is the master. So there's no name given among men whereby we must be saved or delivered other than the name of the one who created all things, whose name is Yahweh. Oh, I'm getting ready to have some fun. I am getting ready to have some fun. Times are very, very, very difficult, and I don't know if you all realize how blessed you are. I don't know. We have scoured the internet looking for pure Hebrews, and we can't find them. There may be individuals that are out there doing what they do, but in light of a congregation that fulfills the mitzvot that says that we are to gather as a congregation on this day, we're not finding those kinds of people. The name of Yahweh is becoming very popular. But we don't want to get confused because of the popularity of the name, which is a good thing. But with your pronouncing the name of Yahweh, there comes some responsibility. That name cannot be used frivolously. That name cannot be used as a common pronunciation or a common thing just because you've awakened to the fact that there is a name of the Most High and it's Yahweh. There is a responsibility that comes with pronouncing that name. The Most High has given to us laws, rules, commandments, mitzvot, and his teaching. His teaching is associated with his name. It's interesting to me that the Most High said, if my people who are called by my name would humble themselves and pray, I would heal their land. That text is used often within the religious world, but the religious world doesn't want to be associated and be his people. It's interesting to me that there are people who worship a Yehudim or a Jewish deity, but they don't want to identify with the nation. They worship a supposedly Yehudim, and he was not just a Yehudim or a Jew, so to speak. He was a Hebrew. if he was anything at all. But yet when we talk about being Hebrew, they don't want to be identified with Hebrew. The Father said, if my people who are called by my name, what's his name? His name is not Jesus. He said, if my people who are called by my name. It's written in the Masoretic text. The Europeans left it out so you never know his name. But we live in an age and a day of enlightenment. There's no reason for anybody to be ignorant. It's interesting to me that your daddy got a name. And every now and then when you want to call your daddy, you call him by his name. You don't call him daddy. You don't call him father. You call him by his name. The Most High has a name. The Father has a name. And that name is Yahweh. It comes with responsibility. The Hebrew nation who calls on that name and uses that name abides by the conditions that go with it. You can't use that name properly and omit the obedience that he's asking you to walk by. You can't use that name and still function with an idolatrous mind, even though you don't even know that you're idolatrous. It comes with a responsibility. I applaud the Yahudims, the Jews. I applaud them because they told us that that name was too sacred to mention. It is set apart. It is set apart. But in the climate in which that we are living, that name is the only name that's going to deliver you out of trouble. That name and that power has never, ever, ever, ever in the history of Hebrew Israel has never gone to battle and lost a battle with his people when they walk in righteousness. He has never, and they have never been defeated. They are champions. And when Hebrew Israel walks in righteousness before the Most High, don't mess with her. Don't mess with her. And if only I could get you all. I'm not talking about this congregation. If only I could get our people to understand who they are and what kind of power works for them, what a great day that would be. I had an opportunity to sit in the house of the gathering of our people. And I watched and I listened. And I realized far away they are from even having a doggone clue of what's happening and what's going on. I heard a man talk about love. There is no greater love than to love the Most High El and walk in his teachings. Heard him talk about love conquers all. Got some news for you. My text tells me that Yahweh doesn't love everybody. My text tells me in Yeshayahu chapter 40 that the nations are but a drop in the bucket to him and less than a breath of dust. So if he's saying that, that tells me he don't love everybody. And since he don't love everybody, I don't have to love everybody. Who does he love? Text tells me that when Yaakov was young, I loved him. Who's Yaakov? That's Israel. So who does the Most High love? He loves Israel by text. You can't throw out the writings of the Most High and say they're obsolete, done away with, and they don't apply. If that's the case, in your churches, amongst your leaders and your pastors, stop using our Hebrew text. It is the law. It is the Torah. Stop it. Stop it. Either claim it or don't claim it. But if you claim it, then you got to claim the whole thing. I heard the prophet say, eat the whole roll. That's what I heard. I didn't hear the prophet say, pick and choose, treat it like a smorgasbord, only use that which is convenient to you at the time. I heard him say, eat the whole roll. Well, what can we say to these things? I heard the writer say, if Yah be Yah, serve him. And if Baal be Baal, serve him. What's the problem? People don't know who Baal is. Idolatry. If you're going to walk in idolatry, then walk in idolatry. If you're going to walk in truth, then walk in truth. I heard the man talk about truth. I sat there and I said, one man's truth is another man's heresy. If I told you the truth, you wouldn't accept it. You'd reject it because your eyes are blinded in the condition that you're in, having been Greeked, having been Hellenized, bamboozled, tricked, lied to. I asked a Christian pastor, I asked this question. I said, if something is a half-truth, what do you call it? He said, I call it a whole lie. I said, Well, if that document that you're teaching out of doesn't reflect the whole body of evidence that supplies truth, and in Hebrews, he writes that what the Most High said has been ineffective and been done away with, but we need a new Torah, and it's ineffective and didn't bring us to the goal. I said, is that true? Are you going to tell me that the creator of all things, who created the heavens and the earth, who created man and gave him the ability to speak, and who created your Jesus, if he created a man at all and he's a man, you're going to tell me that he was ineffective, ineffacive, and changed his mind? The power that I serve, the power that I know, the power that gives me breath every day, the power that causes my heart to keep pounding, that power, you're going to tell me that he's weak? So I ask you a question. Is that document over there, is it true or is it a lie? Can't get no response. If my people who are called by my name, the Most High's name is not Jesus. I and the Father are one. You are not the same substance as the Father. The Father is a spirit. Who makes body but will never become a body. He makes human, but he will never become a human. Why would he dirty himself to place himself in a corrupt human body, to come down here to do what? He don't need to come down here. He can do everything from where he is. He created the heavens and earth from where he is. He created you from where he is. Why does he need to come down here and sully himself amongst dirty flesh of human beings? Why would he have to do that? He's set apart. He's opulent. He's omniscient. He's all present, and he cannot die. I said he cannot die. And he's never placed himself in a position where he's fallen and he can't get up. And you want me to serve a weak and efficient person? When the document itself, it says, put no confidence in flesh. There is a way that seems right unto man. The end thereof is destruction. We're living and have been living in a time in which we need the help of the one who has created all things. We're living in a time when we need the help of the one who gives breath and defines who lives and who dies. Wake up. Wake up. He is the Father, but he has a name. And my text says, your text stole it from my text. My text says, they that call upon the name of Yahweh shall be delivered. If Jesus Christ could save you, he first would have saved himself. Oh, he could have called the legion of angels. Why didn't he? Why didn't he? Oh, you're listening to the lie as to why he couldn't. Well, I don't know. But when Yahweh calls an angel, when Yahweh sounds the alarm and he calls to Gabriel, Gabriel responds to him. Because Gabriel fights for the nation of Hebrew Israel. When the Most High El needs somebody to help his people, he calls them. And he calls them by their name. And they respond. There's no lack in him. There's no failure in him. Yahweh has never lost a battle. And he never will. What's his name? Yahweh. We can have a battle cry. What's his name? Yahweh. And we, his people, walk in the testimony of his laws, his rules, his instructions, and his teachings. Therefore, in this hour of need, while there's a bullseye on every black man's back, we don't walk in fear. We don't coddle. Hebrew Israel's not afraid. Why? Because we heard our king say, my eyes are always upon you. I heard our king say, I form the metalsmith. I form the guy that makes the weapons. And I'm telling you that I, Yahweh, am telling Israel, there is no weapon formed against you which can prosper. Therefore, the bullseye on our back is irrelevant to the ones who seek to destroy us. I can leave my house every day and not be afraid that I'm not coming home. The only way I don't come home is if the Most High takes breath out of my body. That's the only way I don't come home. Can you say the same thing? Are you afraid when the red light goes on and the siren sounds and it pulls you over? Are you afraid that that's going to be your last day? I'm not. I'm not. Oh, I got a testimony from one who can't testify for herself. She said, one day, I was riding down the freeway, minding my own business, when those people, you know who those people are, begin to harass her. She said, I called out to the Father, and I told him, I asked him to send the angel that's assigned to me. And as she rode down the highway, she looked in the rearview mirror, saw a great big force sitting on the back of her hood. And all of a sudden, she no longer had a problem with those folks. Y'all have a way of expressing the works of the Most High. I'm going to use your vernacular as I sit down to teach the next lesson. Won't he do it? Won't he do it? Won't Yahweh answer your prayer? Won't Yahweh come when you need him? Won't he do it? Every time. Why? Because we are his people that are called by his name. Yeshayahu, Isaiah, chapter number 42. Sing to Yahweh a new song. Let his praises be sung from the ends of the earth, by those sailing the sea, by everything in it, by the coastlands and those living there. Let the desert and its cities raise their voices, the villages where Kedar lives. Let those living in Selah shout for joy. Let them cry out from the mountaintops. As we talk about Yeshayahu chapter 42, we've come a ways down to this text. We happen to be in what is defined as the Messianic writings. No, they are not about Jesus Christ. They're about the redemptive time and day in which Hebrew Israel will be extracted out of this land back to their own land. It talks about what's going to happen to the nations, all of the nations who have been oppressive to the Most High's people. It talks about even how the Most High's people don't get it. Sing. Who's going to sing? Ha. You thought we were going to sing, huh? You thought the text was talking about us singing, huh? Not about us singing. When the nations witness, and they will, the redemption of Hebrew Israel during the Messianic era, they're the ones that will be singing this new song. But it's really not a song, as we know a song to be. But it's declaring the wonders that Yahweh has done with his people. The coastlands are a reference to the nations. We have to go back to the prophet Yeshayahu, and we have to hear the words of the prophet speaking the words of the nations, who says, our fathers have inherited lies. What's the lie that you inherited? We were told, and I heard it, and I didn't hear it through the grapevine. I heard it, that the Most High had replaced Israel with the nations. I heard that. That was taught in the Christian church. It only tells me that you've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, tricked, lied to. You've listened to Eurocentrics try to tell you about what the Creator has said. The Creator said, my eyes are always upon Israel. I heard him say that Israel is the apple of my eye. Go figure. He hadn't left Israel, and nobody replaces his people. That's like saying somebody replaced your wife. Well, I guess they replaced his wife. Who has the power to replace your wife but you? And while the Most High went through a stage of separation, and while it was that he went through a stage in which he gave Israel a divorce document, he still loved her, and he still promised in the book of Joel that he's going to redeem her and bring her back to him. He ain't looking for another wife. He's looking for Israel. Let them give glory to Yahweh. Who? The nations. Yahweh will go out like a soldier roused to the fury of battle. He will shout. Yes, he raises the battle cry as he triumphs over his foes. Yahweh is going out like a soldier. Yahweh gave us a commandment. He said, when you go to battle, don't go in fear. The text said he's going out like a strong soldier. He declares how it's going to be, how he's going to function in the time of our redemption. He's going to come out like a warrior. I told you he never lost a battle. And he's coming against his foes. Who are his foes? Maybe you should read Yeshayahu from the beginning. Maybe you should read the prophet Yeshayahu. Maybe you should read the prophet Ezekiel. Because all of those prophets talk about his foes and what he's going to declare to do to them. Oh, Hebrew Israel. The oppression that you're undergoing, the Most High is going to pronounce judgment on this nation. For a long time, listen to the Most High. For a long time, I have held my peace. I have been silent. I've restrained myself. Now I'm going to shriek like a woman in labor, panting and grasping for air. I've held my peace. You wonder why during this exile there's been little to no response from the Most High El. Why we have suffered so much. It's been because he's been silent. But when our redemption approaches, Yahweh's going to react and destroy our oppressors. What am I going to do? Oh, you're going to hear me. I'm going to scream like a woman in labor, panting and grasping for air. I will devastate the mountains and the hills, wither all the vegetation, turn the rivers into islands, and dry up the lakes. We have to look at this language. We can take the language as a literal. But oftentimes, when the Most High is writing and talking to his prophets, he talks in code. And it's up to his people to decipher the code. It's the honor of Yah to conceal a matter, the glory of kings to search it out. Here we have metaphoric language. Who are the mountains? Who are the hills? Who are the vegetation? The hills are the rulers, the kings and rulers. The rulers are those in power, or the kings are those in power, and their minions. He says, I'm going to devastate. The withered vegetation are the people and the followers. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Hills. I will devastate mountains. Mountains are great. Leaders are great. The Pope is great in the eyes of the people. The bishops are great in the eyes of the people. The pastors are great in the eyes of the people. And their little minions, the hills, do their bidding. And from what the mountains and the hills do, produce vegetation. Vegetation are the followers that follow the ways that the mountains and the rulers and the minions give them. Oh, 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 oh. I'm an octogenarian. I was raised in the church. I lived next door to the church. I had to get up every Sunday and go to Sunday school and sit in church all day long. When there was a revival, I had to go every night so I could talk about where I've been. There are people that go to church. They listen to the mountains and the hills, the rulers and the kings and their minions. They never read the Bible. They read it a little bit and think they got a little knowledge, and then they want to be a theologian. You approach them with things of truth, and all of a sudden they got theological knowledge from what they've heard, not what they know. Oh, I know about Christians. I know about people. You don't read the Bible. You only quote what you heard your pastor say, what you heard your bishop say. You don't know it for yourself. And the only reason you know it is because they repeat it all the doggone time. The Most High said, I'm going to devastate them. I'm going to wither the following. I'm going to turn their rivers into islands and their dry lakes, dry up their lakes. The absence of water, drying up the rivers, speaks to the degree of destruction that the Most High is going to bring upon these opposing nations and their leaders and their rulers and their following. The blind. Now, listen to the turn of the tone of the Most High. He's talking about nations sing. He's talking about I've been silent. He's talked about the destruction and the devastation that he's going to bring. But now, there's a soft tone in his voice as he speaks to the prophet. He starts talking about the blind. The blind I will lead on a road they don't know. On roads they don't know, I will lead them. I will turn darkness to light before them and straighten their twisted paths. These are things I will do without fail. Who's he talking to? Who do you think he's talking to? He told us, Hebrew, he told us we were blind. And the language is the same language that he used when he brought our ancestors out of Mitzrayim. I'm going to take you by a road you've never been before. I'm going to take you and sequester you and teach you some things you never heard before. I'm going to teach you how to be my people. And I'm going to prove to you that I'm your El. Yahweh will lead us in the day of redemption through the wilderness of the nations. The nations in the text are always spoken of as being the means by which Hebrew Israel will gain their return back to the land. Turning our darkness into light is indicative of making sure that our journey is going to be smooth so we won't stumble or lose our direction or our way. But more than that, our eyes have already been opened. I wish I could say all of our eyes. But I hear Daniel praying in the 9th chapter of Daniel. When he's looking at the destruction that the Most High has pronounced upon his people for their failure to walk in his ways. I'm going to send a nation against you. Daniel begins to pray. Daniel's not a sinner. Daniel is not walking outside the dictates of the Most High. He's walking according to the rules, the mitzvot. But his prayer to the Most High, he says, Most High, we have sinned. The problem of sin is upon the whole nation. And though you and I might be inside the nation doing what is right, the whole nation has sinned, and the whole nation is blind. I will lead you on a road they don't know. On roads they don't know, I will lead them. What roads? Torah is a road. What don't they know? They're blind to Torah. I'm going to open up their eyes, and I'm going to make sure that when I put Torah in them, they won't fail and they won't fall. Because I heard the prophet say, and the Most High say, in that day, the Messianic era, I heard him say, my name will be one, and I will write Torah upon their hearts, and the language will be one. But I'm going to make sure that you don't fail. I'm going to make sure that you get to the point and the destination that I want you to get to. He talked about us, didn't he? He talked about Hebrew Israel, right? Now the tone changes again. Those who trust in idols. Who say to statues, you are our gods, will be repulsed in utter shame. Meaning, they will be ashamed. In our case, those who have put their trust in man will be made ashamed, and they will turn back from their belief in useless things. Well, let's talk about that for a minute. You say, well, I don't trust in idols and things of stone. What's that cross you have in your house made of clay, stone, that you look at and you worship? What is that? Is that not an idol? Oh, no. That's Jesus Christ. No, it's not. It's a relative of Michelangelo. If I appeal to your history and the awakening that you come to, you said that his hair was wool and his countenance was bronze. But the statue in your house is long wavy hair and something that looks European. And you call it Jesus. I just looked the other day, because I read the news every morning. Oh, I do. I read the news thoroughly every morning. And I came across a meme. And the meme had a whole group of European people with a picture of number 45. And on the placard they said, "Thank Jesus for Donald Trump." I asked the question, which Jesus? The white one or the black one? Because it's for sure that fundamental Christians that are supporting 45 don't believe that their God, Jesus, is black. You who trust in idols. Oh, I know you don't like me. I know you don't like me, but you know what? I'm good with it. Because y'all didn't like the prophets. You killed them. I don't mind not being liked. Oh. Listen, you deaf and blind. You that you see, so that you will see. Who's blind? Now listen, now he says, wait a minute. Who's blind? Who's as blind as my servant, or as deaf as the messenger I send? Who is as blind as the one I rewarded, as blind as the servant of Yahweh? Oh, wait a minute. We're talking about redemption. The tone seems to shift between the nations and between Hebrew Israel. I know in text, and I believe it's in Isaiah 44, we'll get to it later. He said, Israel, my servant. It calls Israel his servant. Who's as blind as you are? And who's as deaf as the messenger that I send? Who's as deaf as a Kohanim that I'm sending to help you? Who is as blind as the one I rewarded? Who did I reward? I rewarded you, Hebrew Israel. You're blind as the servant of Yahweh. Oh, this message today is not just to somebody else. It's also to Hebrew Israel. We have to wake up out of the stupor, y'all. Why is it when I try to get in a house where our people reside and gather and worship, I can't get there? Why can't I get there? Because they're afraid of the truth. Oh, I'm afraid of you. You know, we're oneness Jesus. We're Jesus only. We can't have you coming up here and destroying our Jesus. I'm afraid of you. Blind. Your messengers are blind. I rewarded you, and they can't even tell you the truth. Uh-oh. 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 Oh, you're so smart. You see much, but you don't pay attention. You open your ears, but you don't listen. You're smart. Oh, I listen to them on Instagram. I listen to them on Facebook. Always got a word from Yah. Always got a word from God. You're so smart. You're so intelligent. Your intellect and your verbiage and your voice position is so strong and so mighty, and you're so charismatic, but you're not paying attention. You're not opening your ears. You're not listening. You know it all. When I come amongst you, you don't even want to listen. You even degrade me. Won't even mention me by the title that I carry. Call me by my first name. But when I see you, I'm supposed to say bishop, pastor, and elder. I am a servant of the Most High El. Just in case you didn't know, I don't need your accolades. You see much. You read the scriptures. What you doing? Oh, I got to go home and study the word. What word? What word you studying? Oh, I'm always digging in the word. What word? You see much, but you don't pay attention. You open your eyes, but you're not listening. Oh. You don't necessarily need a Hebraic Bible to read what the Father has said. Oh, what's the greatest commandment? Oh, love the Father and your neighbor as yourself. That's not the greatest commandment. I never heard those words repeated in our text. I never heard the Most High say, love me and your neighbor as yourself. I didn't hear, I never heard that. I heard him say, obey. Obey. Now I got to give a plug. I got to give a plug for somebody who has just damaged and soiled his britches terribly amongst the nation. But the comic Bill Cosby had a line in his repertoire. He obeyed. The Most High says, obey these rules, these teachings that I'm giving you so that you may live. And he doesn't say it once. He doesn't say it twice. He says it over and over and over and over again. You see much, but you're not paying attention. Where did Jesus Christ say for you to obey him? What text is that in your text where he says to obey him? I got some bad news for you. He didn't even say to pray to him. What's your text say? Teach us to pray. He had enough sense to say, oh, hold up, don't pray to me. Pray our Father, who art in heaven. Your kingdom come. Your will be done. Not my will, your will be done. Oh, we praying the will of Jesus Christ. No, he didn't say that. Get mad at me. He didn't say that. Oh, you see much, but you don't pay attention. You open your eyes, but you don't listen. Yahweh was pleased. Yahweh was pleased for the sake of for his righteousness' sake, to make Torah great and glorious. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I got a problem. I got a problem. Yahweh was pleased for his righteousness' sake to make Torah great and glorious. Now, let's take a moment. You all know this. But all Hebrew Israel doesn't know this. I asked the Christian pastor, how do you do away with the law when your text in the 3rd chapter of 1 John says that failure to obey the law is a sin? The law is Torah. Failure to obey it, your text says, is a sin. I said, I have another problem. You preach that people come to church because they want to be saved from hell. What you said. And then you say that Jesus will save you from sin. But in the next breath you come back and say, but if you say you have no sin, you're lying, the truth is not in you. What is it? What is it? Do you have sin or do you not have sin? Did he save you from sin or do you still have sin? Oh, Torah is great and glorious. Those that walk in Torah are not sinners. By John 3, those who don't are sinners. It's in your text. Cheryl, for my expeditious use, would you bring up Psalms chapter 19? And I think it might begin around verse number 7. I'm going to keep this on the board. We're going to see what the Most High says about his Torah. He said, the Torah of Yahweh is perfect, restoring the inner person. Well, wait a minute. I have a problem. If the Most High said something was perfect, then that nullifies what the Greek said in Hebrews chapter 7. Inefficient, weak, didn't bring us to the goal. The Most High said it was perfect, restoring the inner person. It restores your soul. The inner person is your soul. The inner person isn't the house. The inner person is the soul. The instructions of Yahweh are sure, making wise the thoughtless. Oh, it's great and glorious. It makes wise those who are thoughtless. It makes wise those who are simpletons. What is a simpleton? A simpleton is an individual who doesn't exactly know the way, but just because the crowd is going somewhere, he does what the crowd is doing. Because he doesn't know there's a mitzvah that says, don't follow the crowd when they're doing wrong. The precepts of Yahweh are right, rejoicing the heart. The mitzvahs of Yahweh is pure, enlightening the eyes. He said you were blind. He said you were blind. We just read it. You're blind. Why are you blind? Because somebody told you that the law had been done away with. You're groping around, blind, stumbling. So it enlightens your eyes. It helps you to be able to see much. It helps you to pay attention. It helps you to open your ears. It helps you to listen so that this Torah, this law, can be great for you. The fear of Yahweh is clean, enduring forever. The rules of Yahweh are true. They're true. And they are righteous altogether. More desirable than gold, than much fine gold, and sweeter than honey or the drippings of the honeycomb. Through them your servant is warned, and obeying them there is a great reward. So Yahweh was pleased for his righteous sake to make Torah great and glorious. We start working to the close of Yeshayahu 22. And as we begin to read it, Yeshayahu, Isaiah, is going to describe the depredation of this exile. He's going to criticize the people for not wanting to return to Yah, to alleviate their frightful situation. We're going to listen to the language: pillaged, plundered, traced in holes, sequestered in prisons, and no one says return. Let's read. But this people, Hebrew Israel, are pillaged, plundered, trapped in holes, sequestered in prisons. They are there to be plundered with no one to rescue them. Put a period there. That's a period. Now let's think about this. Let's think about this. My people that I'm trying to rescue and redeem out of this land are plundered. Are you not plundered? Oh, don't say you're not. Oh, hold up. You see, we live in this city that's called Sacramento, which comes from the word sacrament, which was how it was named. It was supposed to be a sacrament. And we're not confronted every day by the racism in an overt way that is upon this nation. We're not. We're not pillaged and we're not plundered and we're not trapped in holes, so to speak. Let's hold it right there for a minute. We can pretty much leave our houses and maybe suffer some attacks on the freeway or on the streets by those crazy folks who don't like us. Maybe. We might be confronted by police who don't care that we're black and formulate a reason to shoot us. We might. But it's not a frightening everyday occurrence that we face going from place to place and leaving our homes. But that's not true for everybody. In the Midwest, on the East Coast, and in the South, it's an everyday occurrence where your ancestors are confronted with a bullseye on their back, where a 20-year-old white boy can get up with an AR-16 or 15, whatever it is, put on a tire and go hunting for black people to shoot, pillaged, plundered, trapped in holes. Tell me it ain't so. How can a pregnant mother sitting in her car minding her business for no reason, get shot through the front window of her car and shot dead because somebody said she'd shoplift. How can that happen? And you go to church every Sunday. And your pastor ain't saying a doggone thing about the destruction that's happening to his people. He's only concerned about his own little congregation. While Hebrew Israel, people who didn't know they're Hebrew, are being destroyed. We are the only nation on planet Earth that has this. There are more Hebrew Israelites that don't know they're Hebrews. There are more people of color in the United States sequestered in prison. Listen to the prophet. There's no nation on the face of the earth that has more people of color sequestered in prisons than the United States. They are there to be plundered. Look up the word plundered and you'll find out what it means. With no one to rescue them, with no one to help them, with no one to tell them what the problem is so that they can live and not die. They're pillaged. No one says return to them. Which of you will listen to this? Now there's a question. Who's listening? Who cares? Does your pastor care? Or is he only concerned about his own little village? Don't talk to me about you love me when you don't even care about me. Don't talk to me about love when you're only concerned about collecting the tithes from your own little village, and that happens to be under the law. Don't talk to me when your heart is not broken for your people wherever they are on planet Earth, who are being pillaged, who are being plundered, who are being mistreated, who are functioning under an unequal society that hates you because of the color of your skin. I'm reading Isaiah. Oh, that's your comment. No, I'm reading Isaiah. It says they're sequestered in prison. Are your sons and daughters sequestered in prison? Is the answer yes or no? Do you know the numbers? Will you listen? Will you heed? Will you hear and give heed in the times to come? Most High, you gave Israel to be pillaged, Yaakov to be pillaged, and Israel to be plunderers. Why? Because you failed to keep my commandments. You failed to acknowledge me as being your sole divine power. And because you thought that the grass was greener on the other side, that when I brought you out of Mitzrayim, I brought you out with a strong arm. And when I brought you out, I declared you to be free from slavery. But you found yourself and you found your way right back into what I delivered you from. Who gave Yaakov to be pillaged, Israel to be plundered? Didn't Yahweh, against whom we have sinned, in whose way we refuse to walk, in whose Torah they did not obey? Listen to the text of Isaiah. Oh, you see much, you hear much, but you're blind. They're not my words. Once again, I admonish you, stop reading the text if my people are called by my name. If you're not calling his name and his name's not a part of you and life and status and how you walk, stop using it. You're not his people. Well, you are, but you're wicked. This is why he poured on him, who is him, Israel, his blazing anger, as well as his fury of battle. It wrapped him in flames, yet he learned nothing. It burned him. Uh-oh. We got fires. Yet he did not take it to heart. What is it about the prophet Isaiah that we can't see happening every day in our current events? What is it that we don't see that's affecting our people every day? We, Hebrew Israel, we are the hottest topic in the nation. We are the hottest topic in the nation, plundered and pillaged, passing legislation so that you can never, ever have justice. Passing legislation to eradicate your history. And somebody's saying that you gain the most from slavery. How do we gain the most from slavery when our ancestors were hung? I close with these remarks to you. In all that has happened to us, I use the words of Maya Angelou, and yet we stand. We've been resilient. You've tried to kill us, but yet and still the nation continues to grow. Our intelligence is greater than all the intelligence there is. We're able to make you, but you can't make us. And the Most High placed within his people a DNA part of himself. He created all things, and he put creativity in you so that you could also create and be the people, even in this exile, strong and mighty. You're smart. You're resilient. You know how to form words and put them together. You know how to motivate and move people. But we need to move them in the right direction. And truth needs to be at the fore. And we need to stop being blind. And somebody needs to deliver our people out of the darkness and the doldrums of being plundered and pillaged. And help our young men to know that there's no one like Yahweh. Yemerakaka, Yahweh v'yishmeraka. Ya'er Yahweh panavaleka v'kanuka. Yesah Yahweh panavaleka v'yasam l'ka shalom. May Yahweh bless you and keep you. May Yahweh make his face to shine on you and show you his favor. May Yahweh lift up his face toward you and give you shalom, peace.